Hi again, everyone. Hey, this is Mark Rogers. I'm here with Macy Golder. And if you didn't catch our first show, our pilot show, what happened? You should have been there for it. So this is the Mark and Macy show. Hey, Macy, how are you?
Hey, I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. So this is a Friday. It's right after Thanksgiving. So happy belated Thanksgiving to you and everybody else.
Yes, same to you. Hope you enjoyed some good food and football.
I did. It wasn't the best of Thanksgivings. It wasn't like something I'm going to remember 10 or 15 years from now. It was kind of a humdrum Thanksgiving. I've had better in the past. So maybe we want to hear more about your Thanksgiving. Anything great? Just typical Thanksgiving with the family?
Well, you know what? I can say that Thanksgiving has never been my favorite holiday. I actually can't stand really any of the food. I hate turkey. Never eat turkey. Um, but I like the strange things, mashed turnips and stuffing. So that was what my plate consisted of. So I don't have that full Thanksgiving thing. My mom had to make me SpaghettiOs and pork roll yesterday because I have to pre-eat Thanksgiving dinner. Uh, but it was good. I mean, the time with the family is always the best. But we do every year we play football in the morning. We had our 10th annual Turkey Bowl. I am so sore today. I can say that. It was a good time. We won right at the end. We did a little flying V formation and had the little girl run it in, and we won the whole game. So that was fun. Uh, but I guess the craziest part of it was one girl actually lost her grandmother's diamond ring,
Oh,
and we had to search the entire field. It was actually three football fields we were playing on, and we had to find the ring. And someone brought a metal detector, and probably 2 hours later, they actually found it.
oh, they had to bring a metal detector.
Yeah,
Glad
she
that was hanging around somewhere.
I know, that's what I said, but she lost her grandmother's ring, and it was kind of cool because it showed, everyone went out the night before, everyone was just struggling to play football, but it really brought everyone together to say, hey, let's really, find something that matters and do something that matters and find this girl's ring, and somehow we found it.
So Turkey Bowl. So do we have brothers, sisters, cousins, mom and dad? Who's involved in the Turkey Bowl game?
So it's actually, I grew up playing soccer, and these kids that I played soccer with, their family started it, and it's always just been the kids. And then my brother's friends with one of their younger siblings, so my family kind of just got involved. It's always the kids. The parents just kind of sit on the sidelines, drink coffee, and eat donuts, and the rest of us run around like crazy people. But it's just kind of grows every year. Everyone brings a friend, brings, a boyfriend or a girlfriend or whatever else, and it's usually just kids playing. Every once in a while, the adults step in for like the celebrity play, but usually it's just the kids running around.
So is this like early morning before dinner?
Oh yeah, it used to start really early, like 8 or 9, but
Yikes.
now that we're getting older and we can all go to the bars and go out the night before, it's more like 10 or 11.
Yeah, need to slide kickoff back just a bit.
Yeah. It's fun. It's a lot of fun, and it was gorgeous weather yesterday. So we were out there. We were out there till almost 1 o'clock.
Yeah, it was really nice here as well. I'm kind of disappointed that the parents don't get involved. As regardless how old I get, at whatever point in my life, I am still going to be out there regardless of what's going on. And as long as I can walk, I'm the type that will be out there playing. Like we've got a flag football league at work. And yeah, I got to say, I'm probably like, it's like a 20 something thing and early 30 something thing, but I'm out there.
Yeah,
So,
adults never really play. Every once in a while, like I said, they jump in for, to do some kind of cool play or something funny, but they're usually just out being our cheerleaders.
I like how you don't include yourself amongst the adults.
No,
What are you,
no. So
25? Oh, I
24.
shouldn't even
24.
I should be a gentleman and not even bring up your age. I am so sorry.
No, no. I'm 24, so I'm still a child. I'm still, last night still sat at the kids' table. Um, it's okay. I'm okay with being a kid.
We have to do something about the selection of what's on your plate for Thanksgiving, though, Macy.
I just I can't do it. I asked for chicken, didn't get any. I just I don't like mashed potatoes. I like gravy, but there was no bread to dip the gravy in, so I had to put the gravy on my stuffing.
Did you
There's nothing
actually
else I
say
really like.
SpaghettiOs?
Yeah, I ate SpaghettiOs yesterday.
Oh, those things are brutal.
Oh, I love
I don't
SpaghettiOs.
think I've
I
had
love
them
them.
since I was like 7.
No, I am such a simple, picky eater that SpaghettiOs are the easy way. Yep.
I'm not a huge fan of Thanksgiving. I'm a pretty traditionalist when it comes to my holidays. So Christmas is number one by far. It's not even close. And then Thanksgiving somewhere probably around 4th of July. Maybe might even trump 4th of July if I get a really good Thanksgiving meal, which my mom can cook, my sister can cook. So if I'm able to make it back home for Thanksgiving, which I wasn't this year, I am like salivating to get to Thanksgiving dinner because I love all that stuff, except for like, if you're going to go with beets or something like that, that's kind of disgusting. But all the standard stuff, the turkey, the stuffing, the gravy, the mashed potatoes, all that is just awesome. Love it.
Yeah, I've never liked it. Everyone this morning had the leftover sandwiches with the turkey, the coleslaw, the cranberries, you name it, they had it this morning, and I ate a bowl of rice with some leftover gravy because that's what I like. I don't know. I don't like Thanksgiving food. People go crazy over the gobbler at like Wawa or that stuff, and to me, this holiday could come and go. I mean, I enjoy being with my family, don't get me wrong. That's the best part of it, and that's what means the most. But we could eat Chinese food, we could eat McDonald's, we could eat steak on the grill, and I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, you brought up McDonald's, so I did a little Black Friday shopping late Thursday. Well, it was probably into Friday. It was like after midnight, and stopped off for the quarter pounder meal, which I try to avoid at all costs for long stretches of time. This isn't like my normal diet, but man, it just sounded good with a chocolate shake at like 1 in the morning.
There's nothing wrong with all those extra calories after Thanksgiving
That's
to
right.
fuel shopping, right?
Pile on more. It's just kind of a different style of calorie.
Did you find anything good out Black Friday shopping?
I didn't do the typical like I need a TV, I need this, I need big ticket items. I went to Kohl's and bought work clothes.
Okay.
Well, you get all these if you're a member of Kohl's, whatever they call it, you got their credit card, then you get all these crazy discounts. They're constantly throwing me stuff like 40% this and $10 for every $50 and all this stuff. So I'm like, man, I did a purge of my wardrobe the other day. I just stacked up clothes that I'm giving away to Goodwill. And I went through and probably should have included this shirt, but I didn't. Uh, so I went through the wardrobe and I came to the conclusion, and this is kind of how guys shop, I guess, or don't shop because most of my clothes are birthday and Christmas gifts. But I've got like 52 dress shirts and I've got like 3 dress pants. So that doesn't really work. So I'm constantly having to wash dress pants, and it's annoying for work. So I thought I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy a ton of dress pants. So that was my
Okay.
Kohl's shopping for last night, buying dress pants for work.
And you don't think you could have done that today? Like, I don't understand the rush of people going out at Black Friday. I guess
Oh,
I've
I
never
could
gotten
have
that.
done. Yes, I have no need to be like fighting people. And for Kohl's, when I usually walk in and you can like throw a football from one end of the store to the other, it's usually not busy when I go to Kohl's. Not that I'm a frequent shopper of Kohl's, but yeah, I actually had to stand in line for maybe like 10 minutes. It was kind of, and I'm impatient about standing in lines. Like I hate to go to a restaurant and if there's a 45-minute wait or even a 20-minute wait, I'm like, you're wasting my time. I don't need to be at this restaurant. I don't like that.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I don't have patience to stand in line, wait for,
No, for a
like you said
table.
at restaurants, I don't do that either. I'm like, well, let's just go somewhere else or have mom cook something. I don't
Yeah.
know.
But I'm a late night person, so like going to Kohl's and then coming home and watching uh, stuff on TV with my McDonald's there, that's I'm all about that. So
Yeah, I think I might venture out today now that it's probably calmed down a little bit, but
yeah.
there's nothing I'm really looking for. I guess just to see if something catches my eye. I don't know.
The worst job I ever had, Macy, was I was a manager at Walmart for a year and a half. It was between TV jobs. And the one thing people don't realize when you get a job at Walmart, well, first of all, I had no retail experience, and I went in to get a job at Walmart, and they were going to make me, the electronics department head or whatever. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. I'm here to be a manager. I need to make some money, basically. So anyway, I somehow got a job at Walmart, and I could take you through some gruesome details of people telling me that I should have never had a job at Walmart, especially the district manager who pointed me out one time and said, "Why is this guy a manager at Walmart? He has no retail experience." Anyway, after 6 months of training, they give you a store assignment. So then you usually start off on the night shift. And man, I'm taking this in so many directions that I shouldn't go, that I was in charge of like 33 people on the night shift. So it was just horrible being a nighttime manager at Walmart. And where am I taking this? I don't remember where we were going with
I guess Black Friday?
something. Oh, Black Friday. Yes. Oh, this was brutal. Black Friday. So they made a big deal at Walmart that because we're a family friendly store and people at Walmart are probably hating me. And when we get huge, Macy, Walmart will probably not sponsor us because of this story. But they make a big deal about that we give our employees Thanksgiving off. What they don't mention is that you work until 2 a.m. the night before to prepare the store with all the stock, all the huge displays. And then they open at whatever time it was. I'm sure they open earlier now, but back then, this is like 10 years ago, they opened at like 5 a.m. the day after Thanksgiving. So you're getting to bed at like 3 a.m. the day of Thanksgiving. Then you got to get up at like 4 a.m. to get back to work the day after Thanksgiving. So it's not making the Thanksgiving holiday very, very special. So anyway, yeah,
I
Black
think
Friday was crazy. And I never went to the store on Black Friday, didn't know anything about it. I had only heard the term and knew what happened, but people just are savages. They just run in there and grab stuff and knock people over and knock displays over. And it's just a rampage. It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't get the whole rush of it. I mean, I've never gone out for Black Friday. Last night, my younger cousins, they're like 16, 17, so, they're kind of can be on their own, but they said, we're going to go take a nap, wake us up at 11:30, and we're going to go out at 12. No way, man. I said, do you even understand what these people do? People go crazy over Black Friday. People go nuts. And what are 16-year-olds buying that they need to have right there and then, and they have to go out with the rush?
Well, one time for my son, it was standing in line for some game, some video game that there was a big lockdown on, that there were only 50 available in one of those deals. So I did it. That was my first experience with Black Friday, I think, other than working at Walmart. Yeah. Well, you understand you get a really good deal on like a big ticket item. That's why people do it.
Well, that's what I was trying to explain to my cousins and my sister is you're not going to buy a TV. What do you, what is a 16-year-old going to buy? They're not going to buy a 55-inch TV.
Okay, so you're kind of wondering about my pants purchase on Black Friday. Well,
Exactly. You're kind of right there in that same category.
got a point
Could have gotten the pants today.
All right, follow Macy at Macy G. That's it, right? On Twitter?
It's at Macy Golder.
Oh, is it? I thought it was Macy G. Every time I see it, it says Macy G.
No, that's just my name at the top. My actual Twitter is at Macy Golder.
Okay, I probably don't know the distinction between the two things you just described, but
It's okay. They'll find me.
if you type in Macy Golder, I think you'll find Macy G or Macy Golder. I always
Yeah.
thought it was Macy G. Isn't that your handle? Mine must be the same. I must have put in both things no, it says Mark Rogers, and then it says at Mark Rogers TV.
People might find Macy Gray if they look up Macy G.
Okay.
Not to get us confused.
Of course not. I don't think we would do that. Okay, so the turkey bowl that you described sounds like it was a lot more entertaining and fun than anybody watching football yesterday, at least the first two games, because they were just clunkers. Awful.
Yeah, I came home right from that Turkey Bowl right as the Eagles kicked off, and it just didn't look good for the Eagles. I'm not sure what's happening with the Eagles, if they're not clicking, if Coach Kelly is um, I don't know. I really don't have any answers as to what is happening with the Eagles. Uh, I get very frustrated when I watch the Eagles and they do very poorly, but then I think back to the Monday night game where they beat the Giants to the ground, and I don't understand what happened and why they don't have that magic every game, and just what's the difference between those two nights with one team.
Macy, we've only had a couple NFL discussions, and I gotta say, I don't always understand the logic. So you get frustrated as a Giants fan when the Eagles don't do well. Is that what I just heard?
Well, no, I get frustrated. I guess I get frustrated when I see the Eagles do really well against the Giants. But then I get frustrated when I see the Eagles do very poorly against every other team. And I have to say, why against the Giants did they have to play well? I don't
Okay,
understand how you
got it.
see two different teams coming from one team. And of
I
course,
got
when they play your team, they smash them into the ground and bury them. And
I got it. So Chip Kelly, this time last year, after 10-6 his first year, taking over a pretty bad team, and then 10-6 finishing last year, even though they didn't finish well, he was kind of being hailed as the next genius in the NFL. And now people are wondering what's going on with this guy. I think it's a little bit of both. I think we overreact to the most recent results. So genius, a little strong, idiot, a little strong when it comes to Chip Kelly. I think the guy knows what he's doing, but he's not necessarily the next Bill Belichick.
yeah, no, I agree. I think Chip Kelly is very smart. I think he understands football. I think he understands a lot deeper of football, whether it's dieting and conditioning and all that, West Coast green food drink type of things that he believes in. But at the same time, you kind of have to look at the team of Philadelphia. They're loudmouth guys. They're, in your face kind of guys. But when it doesn't all work together, I just think it's just it's what you get right now. The Eagles are just not working together as a team at all. You're seeing, you know, rookie guys yelling at veteran guys on the sideline, and you're like, what are you doing, dude? I get you get frustrated or this or that, but the veterans should be the ones saying the rookies, hey, come on, we need to work together as a team. This is what we need to do. This is what needs to happen in order to win, rather than the rookies trying to say, hey, this was wrong, this was that. I saw one of the guys jumping in Mark Sanchez's face yesterday. How can you do that? I mean, Mark Sanchez, but how can you do that to a veteran quarterback who's had many more years in the NFL than you have?
Yeah, Mark Sanchez has to be the least respected veteran quarterback I can think of off the top of my head. He's just been in so many comical situations. Of course, the butt fumble
The
being
butt.
the pinnacle, but other things that he's done, he just makes key mistakes at bad times, and people forget that way back when he came into the league and as a rookie quarterback led the Jets to the AFC Championship game, or maybe the New York Jets defense led them to the AFC Championship game, and he was just taking snaps from center, but still he was there. And the next year back to the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, I mean, every quarterback has their team and their game where, they're like, wow, but then again, you have that game where people just say, what is he doing, or who is he, or why are we paying him to be here? But I think the Eagles' dumbest move that they even made all year was getting rid of Tim Tebow. I think Tim Tebow could have been their answer right now. You could call me crazy. I'm a huge Tebow supporter. I wanted nothing more to see Tim Tebow succeed in the NFL. And I think if the Eagles would have kept him, it would have been a better option than Sanchez.
All right. Full disclaimer here, Macy, because this is a wide open show. You got yourself
That's
into
fine.
this.
That's
So
fine.
you got to explain yourself. So for Tim Tebow, and my reaction was probably you probably took it as, oh, he's going to slam Tebow, but I'm not. I'm not, because I like Tim Tebow. I think he's a great role model. I do. So I'm wondering why Macy thinks Tim Tebow should be given a chance. Is it because he's a good Christian guy, because he's a really good football player, or in certain spots in his career has been a really good football player, or he's like really hot?
So
Or is it a combination?
I have always, always, always loved Tim Tebow. Back before he was even the big guy at Florida, I got Florida gear. I never wore any other college gear in my life besides Penn State until I found out about Tim Tebow.
Oh, how did you find out about Tim Tebow before he was a big deal at Florida? Were you like following his high school career or something?
Well, no, it was like when he was, before he won the championship and blah, blah, blah. But
Okay.
I just, for some reason, I guess I saw a Florida game. I don't remember what it was, but something said, wow, you know what it might even have been? I might have looked up Jesse Palmer. And then Jesse Palmer goes back to Florida. And then you look up quarterbacks at Florida. And then Tim Tebow comes up. And then I Google, who is Tim Tebow? And that's all it took.
You know what you're giving me is more ammunition here, Macy, because as soon as you tell me that you were looking up Jesse Palmer, then I'm connecting more dots to the real reason
He's a
that you're a
Giants
Tim Tebow
quarterback.
fan.
Giants quarterback. And he was on The Bachelor. I could look him up.
And he was on The Bachelor.
Correct. No, so I always, always had this thing for Tim Tebow. I was always, always a Tebow supporter. And I always rooted for him. I wanted him to do well. It doesn't hurt that he's good looking. It doesn't hurt that he's a good family guy. It doesn't hurt that he's, really religious and stands up for what he believes in. But when he was with Denver, I was so excited. I had T-shirts. I was Tebowing. My graduation picture at Penn State, I was in front of the lion Tebowing. It's just, I'm a Tebow fan. Always will be, always have been, no matter what anyone says. And I've been made fun of my whole life for it, and it's okay.
It is okay. You know who you are and who you like. That's great. You're the first person, female, young, that I have come across that's like Tim Tebow, but I know that there are masses like you out there. So the people that I've come across that like Tim Tebow are good Christian boy, like older people, good Christian boy. I root for him. I'm now a Tim Tebow fan because there's so many other types in the NFL that I'm rooting for this guy. Or they're SEC fans, Florida fans, whatever, and they've carried that on. But I've certainly, yes, I've heard about your kind. And so I'm guessing that, yeah, you came across you either looked him up initially, like you kind of led us to believe, possibly with the Jesse Palmer Google search, and maybe you came across him that way, or yeah, watching a Florida game, and then maybe it was when you got the ISO camera shot on the sideline without his helmet on.
Yeah, I guess I wish I could say I remember how it happened, how the Tim Tebow relationship started, but no, he's definitely on my bucket list of celebrities, quote unquote, or athletes that I'd like to meet. And if people always say if you could have dinner with one person or sit on an airplane for a long flight with this person, I would say Tim Tebow would be one of those, and not because he's good looking. Well, okay, maybe he is, but just because I think he's a very interesting guy and there's more to him than just, a good football player. I can't say great because I don't know what happened, but he's a good football player. But you see the way he presents himself on SEC Nation, and just the way he puts himself out in the community, and just everything he does. I think he's a really good guy, and people don't give him a chance.
He was a great quarterback at Florida. And I think with a lot of great college players, it gets lost if they go to the NFL and things don't work out, and then it mars their college career. But he is one of the 5 or 10 greatest quarterbacks in the history of college football. I don't think there's any question about that. And I would argue that point with anyone. My quick take on Tim Tebow would be, so he was backing up. People don't generally know this, but he was the backup. He's given credit for 2 national championships, but he was basically the backup. He was the backup on the first one. Chris Leak was the starting quarterback in 2006. So I saw him come into these games and he'd run around, and they ran him out of the Wildcat. So anyway, then unlike Macy, no full disclosure here because I try to fashion myself as a neutral college football analyst, so I'm not going to give away what team. People can usually figure it out at some point. Anyway, I wasn't real happy with Tim Tebow during his career at Florida. That's all I'm going to say. So I wasn't a Tim Tebow fan because of that. So I started to hear about all the things that he does with charity and being a good Christian guy and all that. And I thought that was great. Sure, that's awesome. I really admire that, but I'm not liking what he's doing on the football field to certain teams. So once he hit the pros, my big defense for Tim Tebow, Macy, is coming out of college, going to the pros. I thought he would have a difficult transition, just like NFL analysts and former coaches would tell you, because of a number of mechanical reasons. So I expected him to struggle, and he did struggle from a statistical standpoint, but he won games. And he pulled out games in the clutch for Denver. They had a really good defense, so that helped. So it was usually like 13-10, these games he pulled out. But to his credit, he would lead a great drive at the end of the game and win these games. So he takes Denver to the playoffs, wins a playoff game over the Steelers. They were a big underdog. And then the guy never gets another chance. And that's what I think is unfair, because you can look at the stats, you can look at the mechanics and say Tim Tebow is not an NFL starting quarterback. But what quarterback in the history of the NFL leads a team to I think his starting quarterback record was like 8-5 that year. Who goes 8-5 as a starting quarterback in the NFL, wins a playoff game, and never gets another chance? So that's the one defense I'll make of Tim Tebow is, why not give the guy another chance? He's been more successful than a lot of other guys out there.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And you look at someone right now like Johnny Manziel, and you look at someone like Tim Tebow, and you sometimes wonder to yourself, okay, who is the better quarterback? Like you said, you would probably, saying stat-wise and everything else, go with Tebow. But Manziel, I feel, has gotten more of a shot, and Manziel has been through so much trouble and has this kind of personality to him that people always question. But yet he is the one who's still on an NFL team. He is still, I don't know if he's played recently, but, it's just like, to me, it's kind of like, well, how is a good guy like Tim Tebow, who has maybe struggled his first year, but never was really given another shot?
Yeah, Johnny Manziel is kind of the anti-Tim Tebow in a lot of ways. There are some similarities in the way they play, but Manziel's got a better arm. He's a better passer than Tim Tebow. But and then the skill set in terms of running, similar, although Johnny Manziel's faster, quicker, those things. But in terms of being a good teammate, being a leader in the clubhouse, all those things, wow, no comparison. And I would select Tim Tebow. If I had to select one quarterback to lead my football team, I wouldn't even have to think 5 seconds about it. Tim Tebow would be the guy.
I mean, I think off the field type of things are, it's important to be good on the field, but being off field, your mentality, your leadership skills, your just your attitude and everything is really a big part of the kind of player that you are and the kind of message you set across to your teammates. And I think Tim Tebow would definitely put out a better message and vibe rather than Party Manziel.
We just had 3 NFL games yesterday, and the last one was really good. I caught most of it. And we've got a big NFL weekend, and we've got the biggest college football weekend of the year, and we just spent like 20 minutes on Tim Tebow. Really?
Usually it seems to be my life. Somehow I always get talking about Tim Tebow.
Folks, I came up with the idea for a show, and I wanted a co-host, and Macy's done great. This is our second show, but she has basically hijacked the show. Regardless of what I want to talk about, she's going to talk about what she wants to talk about. And this week, it was Tim Tebow.
Tim Tebow, I'm sure, will be brought up again. This is probably not the first and probably not the last.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing, his staying power. It's phenomenal. It's great. So good for him. Good for him. And again, as a person, I find no fault with the guy. There are so many people out there that just want to hear about some crazy affair or something that he's done in his past that they can put a black mark next to his name. I don't. I think it's great that he's a tremendous role model in a number of ways.
Well, maybe we can get him as a guest, our first guest on the show. I don't know, just
go for the big splash right out of the gate.
Right. Maybe find out, maybe why he didn't make it in the NFL or what happened with the Eagles this year, because he was working out with them and he went all the way down to the final days of camp, and next thing you know, there was no Tim Tebow anymore with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay, Macy, your assignment is going to be to get Tim Tebow on the show because I'm guessing that you have a much better chance of being successful doing that than I do for obvious reasons.
I don't know. I have tried to reach out to Tim Tebow before and no such luck.
That doesn't surprise me. He's a guy in demand, no doubt about that. So this is our little show. I don't know how long we've gone, but we're kind of gearing up for about a half hour per week. But my producing skills aren't the best, especially when I haven't put my contacts in. I can't even see what time it is on my computer. But anyway, as you can tell, we just started. And as you can tell, we don't know what we're going to talk about every week. And we think that's actually a good thing. So we're just going to talk about whatever we want to talk about. So if it's related to sports, maybe not so much related to sports, it's not going to be your nuts and bolts hardcore sports and football show, but it's going to be whatever Macy wants to talk about: SpaghettiOs, turkey bowls, Tim Tebow. She's producing this show on the fly.
You
Aren't you,
pretty much
Macy?
just summed up my whole life right there.
Okay, on the fly. I like that. Shoot from the hip. We'll do it that way. So I would love to someday soon come up with an open for our show. That would be kind of cool. Instead of just click, we're on, we start talking, we have an actual open for the show. That would be kind of cool, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely. It would look totally professional,
Can
just
you
like the two
sing?
of us. No, I cannot sing or dance. I did not
Okay.
get those talents.
All right. Okay. I just thought I'd give it a shot. All right. You can look elsewhere on my channel, Mark Rogers TV, for college football previews and predictions for this week, because this is my favorite week. But I believe that we should wrap it up right about now, because otherwise you get me started on Ohio State, Michigan, Florida, Florida State, Alabama, Auburn, and the list goes on. Then I talk forever. And Macy could only provide maybe Michigan State, Penn State. That's where her heart is, right?
That's where, yeah, I mean, I hate when football season ends, college football season ends, but the last week is always one of the best weeks, and if Penn State could pull up an upset, they will definitely change up the rankings a little bit. So I'm rooting to see that, but I'm rooting for the Big Ten, all the Big Ten teams within the top 10.
So, yeah, if you're a college football fan, and even if your team hasn't done that well, meaning not that Penn State's had a bad season, but you're not competing for a championship, still the last game of the season means a ton. And for Penn State, it's getting to a better bowl game. Now, for some reason, I think by process of elimination, the Big Ten has designated that Michigan State and Penn State are going to be last week rivals because they had nowhere else to go, because they've got everybody else matched up in the conference, and that's pretty much who's left over. So they've kind of forced this rivalry, and I don't really think it's a rivalry. I would think Penn State fans would look at Michigan and Ohio State as bigger rivals, and Michigan State as Michigan being their rival, but they're working on it. So we'll see if this turns into a rivalry, but it's the last game of the season. And so there are tangible things on the line for Michigan State. If they win, they're good. They go to the Big Ten championship game. If they lose, then it comes down to the Ohio State-Michigan winner. So just to set things up. All right, Macy, good stuff. You have anything else to share with us? Eating preferences, anybody in line behind Tim Tebow for your football affections?
No, I think I'm probably gonna go on a little diet after yesterday, and Tim Tebow's number one.
While that's the correct thing to say, I'm going to let that last comment go. While that's the correct thing to say for most people after Thanksgiving, that they need to go on a diet based on what you just explained about your eating habits on Thanksgiving, I don't think that's necessarily the case.
No, I did. I heard this thing yesterday that on average on Thanksgiving a person eats 4,500 calories. So I thought that was pretty crazy. And if you think about everything you eat throughout the day, and then that huge dinner, and then dessert, and then that snack later, because everyone eats at 2 o'clock, which I don't even know why we call it dinner, because you're eating at 2 o'clock. That's a lot of calories that we have consumed, and I think we all need to work on that.
It's one day. It's just
Yeah, that's true. It's one day.
But then it turns into a whole holiday season.
Right.
It turns into all the
Everyone's
Christmas
doing the
parties
cookies
and
and the
Christmas.
dinners.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's what happens. That's
Yep.
what happens. So before we sign off, I I'm guessing you feel pretty good about the Giants. Number one being in first place at 5-5. Impressive. And also that if they win this game at Washington, which they should, I wouldn't be shocked if they got upset, but they should win against the Redskins on the road, that they'll have a 2-game lead in the division.
Yeah, I'm hoping the Giants win, but knowing the type of football the Giants have played this season, no game is a safe game. They could get blown out by Washington, but then they could hold a game close to the Patriots and lose in the final seconds. So I really don't know. I'm hoping they win and really clinch on to first place. I know they have it now, but in the NFC East, you really have to clinch it and hold on to it hard. But I'm not seeing too much competitiveness in the NFC East. So I think the Giants will be all right. If they lose, it's only one game, but if they win, it's a little bit of a safe bet, I guess.
Okay, so you've stumbled upon the Mark and Macy show. We come your way, unless it's a holiday weekend, we believe, on Thursday night. So we'll get it out to you. Either follow Macy on Twitter, and she'll send the link out, myself at Mark Rogers TV, or follow my YouTube channel and subscribe there at Mark Rogers TV, and we'll send you our little show here that we've done for 2 weeks, and it's the Mark and Macy show, or maybe it's just going to be Mark and Macy. Which one hits you better?
I don't know.
The Mark and Macy show sounds a little too official. It could just be called Mark and Macy. Macy
All right,
Mark.
we can work with that.
Okay, we'll ponder that. All right, Macy. It was fun. We'll see you next
Have a
week.
fabulous weekend of college football. Enjoy it.
Yes, I will. I'll be immersed in it. And now I know you just a little bit better, that your football affections go New York Giants number 2, Tim Tebow number 1.
Always.
See you later.
See ya.